Hi everyone, welcome to Review of the Week. It's your host James, and I'm joined by my first special guest of the year, Ali McGee.
Hello!
Ali McGee is a globalist. He's a libertarian like myself, a little bit more left-wing to put him into context. Yep. And we're going to be moving straight on to the first story that caught my eye this week on InfoWars, is that the DHS announces program to illegally scan American faces. So
what the hell is this? This is awful,
I'll give a little bit of context. So the Americans are spending up to $1 billion, according to a study, which was given by a TSA agent. The Americans are going to be spending up to $1 billion on facial recognition stuff that will illegally scan Americans' faces. The Georgetown Law Center for Privacy and Technology looked at the biometric scanners that are creating an inventory of the faces, and they're going to be putting those across airports across the United States. They're only at certain major airports right now, according to InfoWars, but the full implementation could cost up to $1 billion. Ali, what do you think about this?
I hate this. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is an infringement of my right to privacy. And
this is globalism at its core.
This is not globalism. We'll come on to globalism. This is not globalism, James. This is just the American government being incredibly authoritarian and saying we hate people's privacy.
Hang on a minute. It's not the government. It's not Donald Trump's government. It's Congress and the Department of Homeland Security.
Is Department of Homeland Security, is that privately owned or is that state owned?
No. This is the government department, Alasdair.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, the Federal Reserve is not government owned, is it? And that's...
Alright, fair enough, okay.
I think this is awful. I mean...
Well, of course it's awful. I mean, we can't be living in a world where you just walk anywhere and your face is on camera. I mean, here in the UK, we're probably on 1,000 different registries. There's face recognition. We've got biometric data stored by the government for pretty much everyone, and you can't really escape. You can't really escape it. So what can we do?
The thing about this is, though, it's an attempt on the war on terror. But first off, Muslims have that sting on their face, don't they? What is it called? Is it the American Islamist terrorists? What they have on their face, like a burqa or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So I mean that's, and I'm not all Muslims, but most of them are the terrorists nowadays. That's a big problem there, and also it's.
So just to clarify, what we're saying is, most of the terrorists are Muslims. Is that what you're saying? I'm
saying that not all Muslims are terrorists, but most terrorists are Muslims in this day and age right now, and that's coming from a liberal. So
fair enough.
I mean that also 99% of the people that they actually see will not be terrorists, will they? They're just taking people's private information that they don't want handed out and putting them in a computer somewhere. This is like almost as bad as the NSA, which they're.
Yep.
Do you remember the bomb in the NSA and all that stuff? It's nearly as bad as that.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
No, you're right. You're right for sure. So there's been more than 30,000 documented terror attacks worldwide since September 2001. And when are we going to say enough is enough?
But what would your solution be to it though? Like, how would you sort of?
If anyone knew the answer to that, I think
we probably would have done it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I really don't think that this is the answer.
Scanning people's faces.
No, it's not the answer whatsoever. I mean,
that's authoritarian globalism at its core.
Well, we know Trump is a bit of an authoritarian, don't we?
Not really, no.
No, Trump is a bit of an authoritarian. He says things that are incredibly. He says things according to his own policy because he's populist. He says things that he wants to do and that he wants the government to do, regardless of whether.
That doesn't make him authoritarian.
That does make him authoritarian.
Makes him a populist.
No, he is a populist authoritarian. The only real libertarian thing he's done is reduce taxes. Everything else is the plan to build a wall. That's authoritarian. His constant Twitter stuff with North Korea. That's not libertarian because libertarians are against war, and he's sort of pushing for it.
That's true. Fair enough.
He is more authoritarian than libertarian. He can say he's not, but
don't you think the fact that he's draining the swamp and getting rid of all these globalist Nazis, which are running around like they own the place?
What globalist Nazis has he got rid of?
Well, the globalists, aka the entirety of the FBI, which is corrupt.
Yeah, but you know what?
He sorted them out.
Well, I don't really think. Well, no, we fired James Comey. and I don't. And I think that has got a little bit to do with the Russian collusion thing.
Okay. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that there was no Russian collusion
it's not pretty obvious there's no Russian collusion, is there?
Yes, there is. I'm finding the stats right now.
Oh, you finding the stats? Find the stats.
I'm following the live stats. There was no Russian collusion.
No, I think there has.
Here we go. Look,
James, we don't. There's things we don't know, but the fact is that. Go on. Just a second.
No, you go on, Alasdair.
The fact is that what his son was like talking to what's his face, like in Twitter DMs. Yeah. I think that's a little bit sketchy. Like
so someone talking to someone on a Twitter direct message is sketchy, is it?
And the amount of time that he spends with Putin and stuff, and the fact it goes so well, even after so much tampered history with the Cold War and stuff. I think. So
you're telling me that because he gets on well with the Russian president, right, avoiding war like a real libertarian, and that's bad. I think that's pretty good.
I think there is not sufficient evidence to say that it's actually happened, but there's not sufficient evidence to say that it hasn't happened.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a possibility. Right, so, it might just be fear-mongering by the Democratic Party.
Moving on to globalism, as we discussed a second ago.
Yes.
Could you give a few views of yours on globalism?
Right.
At the
moment? Let me just have a drink first.
Okay. Ooh. So while Alice is having a drink, I'm just going to have a quick talk about the new statistics released in Germany. So it says here that there's been a 92%... Right, so of the 10% crime increase in Germany, 92% of that crime was committed by migrants. So that's just a statistic I'm throwing out there.
Okay.
It's also important to say on the other side of the argument that migrant crime is twice as likely to be reported than non-migrant crime.
Okay.
So that may throw the statistics a bit. But do we not think that the European Union, as corrupt as it is, allowing in as many people as they want, Bush and all the, all his friends, Obama, and all the globalists there.
Bush is not friends with Obama.
Yes, but they're both on the same side.
They're not on the same side. One's Republican, one's a Democrat.
We all know that Bush did started the Iraq War.
Yeah, he
intervened in the Iraq War because he wanted oil.
Yes.
We all know that.
Yeah, we know that.
Yes, Obama is exactly the same thing. Devil worshipper as he is, he's just as bad.
No, he's not just as bad. Right. Do you want me to explain my views on globalism and globalisation and all that?
Yes, because I really do want to know.
Okay, right. See on the notes. So I think that overall there are net positives to globalisation and its effect on global economies. Simply because, let's take an example: the computer that we're recording this on now. The computer that we're recording this on now has not been created in a British economy. This computer has got parts made from Japan, parts made from China, parts made from the Asian countries, and they've all been brought together and put together in China and then sold to us from a relatively cheap price in Britain.
Yep.
And that's one of the great things about globalism is the trade that we get from it. I mean...
Oh, okay, so exploiting developing countries...
No, it's not exploiting developing countries, though, is it? Because they're giving them more jobs than they would have had if they had not been globalised. I mean, sure, it's not fantastic some of the working conditions they get, but it's a hell of a lot better that they didn't have any jobs at all. I tell you, James, I'd rather get $1 a day than get no dollars a day. I'd rather get that. And the fact is that if you look at the World Bank statistics, more than 500 million people have been lifted out of poverty because of globalism, because of all these countries saying we're going to set up factories in low-wage countries. And sure, it's not fantastic. It's incredibly capitalistic, and these countries that have poor people will have more. It'll be more of a profit for the employer, but. Yep. That's one of the downsides of free trade, and one of the upsides of free trade is that these people actually have jobs as opposed to
you say that.
Property.
So you say that this computer being sold to me is cheap, and
it's a hell of a lot cheaper for you.
It's being produced in different countries, and it's all great. But don't you think the fact that I'm sitting here with my phone on my desk, the Wi-Fi in everywhere, all Wi-Fi is destroying your DNA as we sit here. The microwaves coming from your phone. And my phone and anyone's cell phone or mobile phone that they have next to their bodies right now is destroying their DNA, right? This is the globalist agenda, the war on humans.
There's no globalist agenda, the war on humans. Globalism is a progression of trade. Globalism is basically more saying let's be more efficient. Okay, No, it's not. No, it's not efficient at killing people, James.
Efficient at killing people by giving us cancer. Our
It's
bodies
not
are
the one
designed
to-
for full frontal assault from like a big grizzly bear or a lion in the wild, right? Instead,
Oh,
we're
God.
being killed slowly
James.
by mobile phones, Wi-Fi, chemicals being put in the water,
James,
and food, genetic
James,
modification,
globalism also
all
is
supported
also
by the
it also helps
globalists.
because it's
Everything's gone wrong, Alasdair.
it helps destroy the war. It helps destroy violence, okay? Because I mean, think about it. Why would a country such as Brazil want to go to war with America and say like its allies of UK and France when they're some of the biggest exporters of cotton or something? Why do they want to do that? It's helping destroy violence. It's also far more democratic because if you've got more, it's helping to destroy violence. It is. Globalism is helping to get rid of violence in the world. Because why would a country want to go to war with a country another country that has got trade with?
So why are these globalist Americans?
Because America is more
why have the
isolationist than other
Americans been
countries.
starting wars for the past 20 years?
As a country, it does have a lot of trade, but overall it is more isolationist.
The Americans, Obama and Bush and them lot are a bunch of globalists, and they've been starting wars to dismantle the Middle East, right? To make it look like there's terror wars and all that sort of thing going on. And the real problem
that's
lies
not the
at the
fault
core
of globalism, though, is
of the
it?
White House
No, it's
before
not.
Donald Trump's presidency.
They haven't been planning attack on humans.
Yes, it is. They have been planning the attack on humans.
Globalism is not an
and they're
attack on humans.
executing
It's
their
just
plan
natural
as we
progression of
sit
humans saying, let's trade with other countries so that we can get things cheaper and more efficient. Oh, you're telling me.
So what? So you're telling me that globalist companies such as, I don't know, McDonald's and KFC and fast food on the whole, I don't know why I'm picking up brands here, fast food, sugary drinks, the stuff that's the global icons of the world are giving people diabetes, cancer and killing them, and yet the forefront of globalism is, we have this product, it's brilliant, most
people that buy these sort of things buy them because they're cheap and it's filling. I mean, what's it, 2,500 calories in a Big Mac? That's going to shut up a whining child. And what, for £4? No, I'm not. James, you're drawing a straw man. I'm not okay with these sort of things. What I'm saying is that is one of the consequences of a genuine free market, which you should be for because you're a libertarian. How? How are we teaching people to be mentally ill?
We're teaching people to be mentally ill by saying it's okay to look at a screen for 12 hours a day. It's okay to sit down on your phone for 6 hours a day. It's okay that you're getting bombarded by radiation 24/7. It's okay that your computer is listening to this conversation right now, and that information is being sold to Facebook. That information is being sold to the FBI.
Globalism is based around trade, James, and the trading of different economies have become more independent.
That is globalism. No. Globalism is the progress of trade. Yes, you're right, trade and global economies and peoples.
That's good.
To be united globally instead of by country.
How?
No, it's not good because people are dying because of it. I've just explained that the constant bombardment that our body takes from genetic modified foods, which aren't supposed to be in your body, additives in all foods which have been globalized and produced all over the world, right? The fast food, Wi-Fi, these cellular devices which are destroying our DNA, is causing mutations. You've got additives in food, sugars, flipping sweeteners, and all that stuff. People are sitting down, and you wonder why the dairy market's being ruined in the UK. When there was a point a few years ago, you might remember, where milk cost less than water. That is the globalist agenda driving prices down of local produce, and farmers in the 70s and 80s had to rely on pumping their cattle full of antibiotics and chemicals to make them produce more and more and more, right? And that trickled down into the ecosystems that we now live in. So all these chemicals that people wanted to make more food.
So what you're saying is that one of the reasons why I dislike globalism is because
it's killing us even faster.
It's placing less of an emphasis on agricultural sort of things and putting more of an emphasis on other services like banking and economics and computing and like tertiary services. Is that one of the reasons why you dislike globalism? Because that's one of the reasons why there's less people going into
that you can
agriculture.
Sit down and order something from Amazon in America and it can come to your doorstep within a week. Right? How much?
That is one of the problems with James with globalism. Is that there are
people are sitting